Yo, what's up? I'm going to be showing you the steps I took to modify my PS4 controller by adding these custom molded grips. This is going to be useful if you hold the controller in an alternative way, or if you just want grips that are perfectly molded to your hands. Links to all the items I'm using will be in the video description. You're going to need a PlayStation controller, small Phillips head screwdriver, polymorph plastic pellets, plastic glue, and the finish I'm using is hammered finish by Rust-Oleum. The WD-40 and nail polish remover is not essential, but if you have it then you can use it, and I'm using KontrolFreek's. First off, we're going to get the polymorph plastic pellets, and I'm just going to put 1.5 tablespoons of it into each container so that I can get close to equal amount of grip added to each side of the controller. Using boiling water, just add that in for about 20 seconds, make sure the pellets go clear before you take them out, and I just sort of moved mine around with a fork and just try and get rid of the air pockets. Then when you take it out, you want to shake the water off and mold it in your hands for a bit to make sure there's no air or water in there, and then try and put that onto your controller and shape your hands around it and keep pushing your fingers into the mold of the plastic so you get the right shape. And then do the same with the other side. Obviously while they're still warm, you've got a bit of time. They don't really go hard until you've fully got a mold on it, and your hands are warm, so that's going to keep the plastic from hardening too soon anyway, so you can get both grips as symmetrical as you can before it hardens. This is an extra step you can do if you have WD-40. If not, you could probably just use water, but you put that on your fingers and then use that to slide it over the mold and sort of smooth off that plastic. Also make sure that none of the mold is covering any of the 4 screw holes, because we're going to need to take the backing off in the next step. After about an hour, the mold would have dried. If you don't want to wait an hour, you can probably run your controller under cold water for 10 minutes, but after that we're pretty much ready to remove the back. So take the 4 screws off. That way we can take the case, the back of the case off, and then paint that without any paint getting into the rest of the controller. It's going to be a lot easier than masking off parts of the controller that you don't want to paint. Taking off the back's pretty easy. Just click off the bottom parts of the handles and then slide that away from the rest of the body. Just be careful, there's a small ribbon strip which connects to the charging port and the LED lights, so you don't want to rip that out straight away, but you can just disconnect that pretty easily. Now we've got the part that we're going to paint. We're just going to take this plastic bit off which covers the little LED diffuser. So on the right hand side you can just click this up and take the little white piece of plastic off, and then underneath that there's a little holder just comes straight out, and then the light diffuser that you see from the outside. The rest of the little chip here and the little strip, I'm just going to cover that with a bit of tape so it doesn't get any extra spray on it. So getting ready to paint, I'm just putting down an old green screen so I don't get paint on the bench. If you do have a spare charging cable, then plug that into the port so you don't get any paint in there. I'm going to be using Rust-Oleum hammered finish, and the way to apply that is just really light sort of coat at first, and then just wait half an hour for that to be dry to the touch. So once you've double checked that it's ready, then just shake the can and apply 2 or more medium coats at a moderate speed. For this sort of paint, it does seem like it's going on quite thick, but obviously it needs to sort of separate and pile up to get that hammered finish. So yeah, just make sure you get in all underneath and little cracks. If you don't have a spare charging cable to plug the port with, or if you don't want to get paint on your current cable, then you could probably just use something like blue tack to plug the hole. After 24 hours then the paint will be fully dry, so if you do notice at this stage that you've missed some spots, then you'll have to apply a recoat and then wait another 24 hours. And yeah, here's just a couple of finished images of the controller once it's all dried and reassembled. So the whole reason for me doing this modification to my controller was because I changed my button layout in Rocket League, so then I wanted to use both my middle finger and my index finger on both the triggers at the same time. So holding a controller like that without this modification didn't quite feel good in my hands, and I wanted a more ergonomic and comfortable controller when using this layout configuration. So here's some footage of me before the modification and Now that I've done the modifications to my controller, this is the kind of stuff that I'm able to do. Hopefully this helped you if you're thinking about modifying your controller in a similar way. Feel free to subscribe and click the notifications button if you want to get notified when we're streaming. Alright, peace out, thanks for watching and see you next time.